Hi, welcome to maths class. Today we're looking at the total surface area of a cylinder. So if you remember yesterday we looked at this formula and where it came from. This is the rectangle that wraps around the cylinder and they're the two ends. And so that gives me the circumference of the circle times the height gives me the area of this rectangle, and pi r squared and pi r squared are those two circles, and then I add that all together to get this formula. So I'm going to use this formula now to do two examples. My first example is a fairly straightforward one. Find the total surface area of this cylinder. I look at the cylinder, I can see the height and I can see the radius. So the first thing I will do is jot those bits of information down. The height equals 15 centimeters. The radius equals 4 centimeters. And before I go any further, I double check centimeters. Yes, I'm definitely dealing in just one kind of unit, so I don't need to convert anything. All right, now I need my formula. So I'm going to copy it down from my page. I'll just pull my page a bit closer and I'll copy down TSA, that stands for total surface area, equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. All right, don't need that anymore. So I'm going to find the total surface area of this by substituting in these numbers into this formula. So 2 times pi times r is 4 times h is 15 plus 2 times pi times r is 4, so it's 4 squared. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that all into my calculator, all in one line. I could do it separately and work out this number and then work out that number, but I don't need to. I don't need to know just this part separately and just the two end circles separately. I'm just going to put it all in one line. 2 times pi times 4 times 15 plus 2 times pi times 4 squared. And there it is. I hit enter. I get 477.52. 477.52 centimeters squared. Don't forget to write your units. All right, that's the first example. Here's the second example. Marion is going to paint her water storage tank. The tank is a cylinder 2.4 meters tall and 2 meters in diameter. Each 1 litre can of paint will cover an area of 6.5 meters squared. How many cans of paint will she need to buy? Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at is the fact that I know I've got a cylinder and I've got the dimensions of the cylinder. I'm going to sketch it just to help me get my head around this picture. To sketch a cylinder, I draw a kind of ellipse, then I draw an oval, and then I draw two lines going down and another oval straight underneath. So 2.4 meters tall, putting in my units, 2 meters in diameter. Remember, diameter. I need radius. The radius of this cylinder is going to be 1. So I'm going to jot that information down the side. The radius is 1 and the height is 2.4 meters. So one of the good things about a diagram is I might not have noticed this diameter part if I hadn't first drawn the diagram. But the other thing is I'm going to think about painting this water storage tank. I'm assuming it's a big concrete tank out the back. Well, Mariam's not going to paint the bottom of the water tank, is she? So when I go to my formula, when I want to work out the area of this tank, she's going to paint the sides, that's this rectangle. She's going to paint the top, that's this circle. She's not going to paint the bottom. So I am not going to use that part of my formula. So when I write my formula down, it's going to be surface area, not total surface area, equals 2 pi RH plus pi r squared. Just this part plus this part. So then all I need to do is put my numbers in and put them into my calculator and I'll have the area of the cylinder. So 2 times pi times the radius is 1, the height is 2.4, plus pi times 1 squared. Put that straight into my calculator now. 2 times pi times 1 times 2.4. I didn't really need to do the times 1, did I? plus pi times 1 squared. I'm not going to type that in. So check that it looks the same. 2 pi 1 2.4, yes, plus pi equals 18.22. Now, that's meters and meters, so this is in meters squared. But I haven't answered the question yet. How many cans of paint will she need to buy? Let's have a look. Each can of paint will cover an area of 6.5 meters squared. There's a couple of different ways to do this. I'm going to use division. So I'm going to go 18.22 divided by 6.5. And that will give me, divide 6.5, that gives me 2.8. So that's 2.8 cans, because 18.22 meters squared divided by 6.5 meters squared tells me how many cans of paint I need. But you can't buy 2.8 cans of paint, so I quickly write down my answer. She will need 3 cans of paint. Remember, in this situation, we always round up. Even if I had 2.1 cans of paint here, I would still round up, because if I don't have that extra 1/10 of a can, that extra 0.1, I might not quite be able to finish the job. So I'm going to have to buy the extra can of paint, even though I only might need a little bit of it. All right, that's the end of finding the surface area of a cylinder.